What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to work on the wagon a little bit. Today was family day, so I kind of spent some time with my family. We are out here late though, I will tell you guys that now, so we might work into the night. But today I want to build the downpipe for the wagon. If you guys haven't seen the previous video, we installed a Just TIG log rear top mount manifold along with a Garrett GT3076. I have not gotten any fittings to reroute one of the heater hoses. I already did the first one, but I need to buy a new hose to reroute it around the wastegate. But aside from that, the first one is done. The second one just needs a fitting, and then we'll do that when we get it. But I want to build the downpipe just to make some progress. It shouldn't take long at all, I hope. But I am going to be reusing the old downpipe setup, or at least just the bottom half of it. I'm going to connect it to the exhaust, see where it lands in the bay, and see if we can connect from the turbo down to the bottom half of the downpipe. When we built the exhaust system for the EF sedan, I did grab some extra parts from the homie Kel, and I do have some bends here. This was a 90. I cut to use a 45 for the turn down on the exhaust. We have two 90s, and we have an extra V-band just in case. And I do have a brand new stainless steel 3-inch straight. This actually was about 4 feet, but I used it on a different, I don't know where I used the other half of it. Why is this cut weird? I swear I did not attempt to make a teardrop. But anyways, this was a 4-footer. Now it's about 2 feet, and this should be plenty to make our downpipe. Also, big shout out to Just TIG. He did send over a couple bellows, and I'm not sure if I'm going to need it because, like I said, I'm probably going to try to reuse the bottom half of my downpipe. I believe it's this right here. This right here is the bottom half of the downpipe, which already has a V-band, and the fact that it has a 3-bolt, which is what's currently on the exhaust system on the wagon, this should just line right up. So I guess the first thing is to install that. So before I crawl underneath the car, I saw a bunch of webs that were new, and I kind of torched it a little bit, and then all of these suckers fell out. That's two giant one right there. And there was an egg sac that burnt, and a lot of little white balls came out of it, and they scattered. The sun is freaking setting in my eye right now, and I don't have a gasket because I used it for the EF sedan. But for now, I'll run without one, and when I get a new one, it's not hard to slip one in. So get my 12 mil here. All right, so we have the bottom half of the downpipe connected to the exhaust, and it lands right there. By the looks of it, it's literally a short 90, but it won't just be a straight 90, because if I put it from the top here, you can see probably a quarter of that downpipe is underneath the log manifold. So that means I'm gonna have to do like a weird S shape just to go around the log, around cylinder number 3, to go into the downpipe. So I mean, it's not too shabby, not too shabby. I do have those 90s and that 145 to make the S that I need. It just has to be a perfect cut to go from here to there. This is the old downpipe that came out of the wagon, and this was actually fabricated for the sidewinder that's in the sedan. So this right here is the bull boost manifold, and I could technically keep this downpipe with this turbo kit, except there's like interference issues no matter which way I put it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hack this downpipe up to get this V-band here that goes to the downpipe that's on the car now, and this one right here to the turbo. You guys are probably wondering why my sweaters and my shirts are all You guys are probably wondering why all my sweaters and my shirts are cut in the same spot. It's because of the grinder spark hitting my shirt in the same spot every single time I cut, right? So I have the V-band right here, cut off the old downpipe, and I have it all cleaned up with the old material taken out. So that way this lip right here will seat the new piping inside, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and take off the flange. Well, I'm not gonna take off the flange. I'm just gonna go ahead and slip the flange here into the turbine. And the turbine does have a female outlet, and then this one is a male. So it's an interlocking flange to ensure that it's a nice tight seal. All right, so it is in place. It's not gonna go anywhere. This is also an interlocking flange. It just sits on the other one down low and it locks itself in. So I don't need to clamp down there for right now. And this one right here is a 45. I might want to cut it tighter. So this might be a little hard for you guys to see. Spent some time cutting a bunch of different shapes without taking too much material out, but I don't want to put my arm here because you guys can't see it, but this is pretty much my bends and angles that I'm going to need to make this top half of the downpipe. And give you guys all the light since it is super dark and the wagon is parked in front of the lamp. We have the downpipe all tacked up and secured with the V-band. 1 and 2. So took a little finessing to get that bottom bend right here to fit, although I cut it so much that I ran short of material and I couldn't pull the bottom downpipe up high enough to close the gap. So I had to add this is like a 1/2 inch straight right here. You can see it's a different color. Right now, before I pull it off, I'm probably gonna put the O2 sensor bung. I actually have one on the bottom downpipe already, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna ever run a Y band in here, but if anything, I'll run a factory O2. And you're supposed to be like 6 or 8 inches away from the exit of the turbo housing, but I don't remember off tops, so don't quote me on it. I am just gonna go ahead and put it probably, I don't know, it's like 10 maybe. Let me see, 3, 6, 9. This is about 10 inches. So I'm gonna put it right here, easily accessible. Try to get it as straight as possible. Somewhere, I don't know, somewhere right here. Probably right there. guys, let me showcase my welds a little bit. These came out freaking awesome, dude. I was having such a fun time welding this up last night, other than this giant gap that I had. I had a giant gap right here. The weld's a little bit fatter, but you know what, on the inside here, I'll show you in a second, barely any sugar coating. Now, you guys know, if you watch me weld for quite some times now, I never back purge. I'm not set up for back purging, although I do have in that box right there, I do have a regulator that is a dual setup to have a line to feed argon into the material that I'm welding. When I built my first log manifold, it was back purged, but for downpipes and stuff, I mean, I've never really had any like cracking situation that I need to, you know, back purge or whatever the case may be. Plus, you know, tanks out here, it ain't cheap at all to fill up argon or the C75 mix. But anywho, I'm really happy on how this turned out. And I built the original downpipe to the wagon. I turboed this car in 2017. So 2017, look at my welds down here, right? Pretty non-colorful, pretty inconsistent, pretty fat because I was dabbing with like 1/16 rod. This right here is like a 040 Harbor Freight stainless lock wire, 041 right there. And dude, it looks freaking amazing. I'm overall very happy with how this turned out. It looks like the O2 sensor is going to clear everything down low. I just threw this one on just to get a reference, and it looks like we're good there. This is a bad O2 sensor as well, so trash. I am really loving this top half of the downpipe. Really making use of the old material. And we have plenty of clearance everywhere between the manifold, the subframe. The heater hoses will change route, so we'll have more clearance once this bottom one goes the other way, and then all of this is going to get heat wrapped. Right now the downpipe just on for me to just kind of geek over it a little bit, but everything is going to come back out as far as downpipe, turbo, manifold's going to stay. Turbo, I need to I think it'll be easier for me to do all the lines and stuff with it off the car, and also the return line. And I also don't have any bolts for the back. You can see it's missing one right there, and it is missing one right there. So turbo's going to come back off eventually to make it easier for me to do the dump tube for the wastegate, because I'm not going to do it today. I decided because I need to figure out all my material stuff first. And I was going to do the charge pipe from here to the turbo, right? Except I went through my rods and they're all empty. I don't have any rods. The only aluminum rod I have right here is probably 2 feet, and that's all I have left. So I can't do charge pipe today. I was gonna wrap it up, but I want to do one more thing. So I came over here to look at some of the odds and end accessories that are just kind of piled up underneath my shelf here. This is a K20Z1 out of a 0506 RSX that scored from the junkyard, and it's just kind of been sitting there, and the accessories are mainly intact. Like, this is nearly a complete long block, so I'm not worried about that. But I was looking at this is a RAA, which is, I believe, TSX, and I'm looking at the water pipe here, and this is actually configured for a K20, so I'm not entirely sure why this is hybrid right now, but K20 water pipe. Now I do have 2 of them, the other one's on the table, and I want to make sure I at least have one for my K20, which I have a spare K20 block with a this is the one that came off the sedan, so this one needs a rebuild. But over here I have a rebuilt K20 head for mock-up, so this is fresh 0 miles, and I want to make sure I have a water tube for this cylinder head. I have this water pipe right here, which is kind of mangled up. I'm not entirely sure what happened right there, but it's pretty mangled up, and this makes it 2 that I have, although I do have 1, 2 K20 cylinder head, and then I have 1 K20 block. I guess I can sacrifice that messed up one over there to do what I'm about to do. So as long as I have one accountable for a full K20, we'll let that be. I'm not entirely sure if I have another. Well, I have it over here. What is this? PRB. Okay, so this is a K20. So this for that future engine, we're Gucci. So what I want to do is I want to make a T from this water line to run for the heater hose to go all the way around. So somebody mentioned you can probably tee it off the water pump hose, which goes to the oil cooler right here, and I believe that's about the same diameter. Don't quote me on it. And I could run my water line from there to here, right? Make it short. I could, yes, but I don't know. I'm not crazy OCD, but I don't know how I feel about heater hoses running one this way and one that way. I'd rather have them run parallel together. That's just me. But anyways, this right here is going to this water adapter, which then goes through the cylinder head, goes all the way across to that back port that goes to the heater core. So robbing it off of here is practically the same thing. I was kind of hesitating on doing it here because I didn't want a long water line, but you know, sometimes you just got to make do with what it is. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut a straight section here, and then I'm going to take a 90, and then I'm going to put it coming off of here, so it's 90 hard pipe, so it's 90 coming out, and then runs in line the transmission going to the back. I didn't want to get any of those regular T fittings because then the water hose would come T in like that, so it would be like a loop, a U. I don't want that. So I want everything to run parallel together, so I'm gonna make that adapter with a U coming off it to point the heater hose to go in line with everything else. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I'm gonna go ahead and get to cutting. If this wrinkle wasn't here, I wouldn't sacrifice this, but it's already messed up. So let's get to cutting. All right, this is the 2-piece we need. I got this cut right there. That's gonna go on like that. That's gonna go in line of the hose, and then this is the heater core. And then we need to bead weld the ends as well too. This is the biggest fail of the century. I was so into making this little T adapter that I started welding this without even cutting the hole in the center. Yo, where's the coolant gonna flow? I am a freaking idiot. So the T, I painted it. It's gonna go somewhere right here, because I want to steer away from this bolt hole and that one. So somewhere right here, I'm gonna have to slit that hose, put some hose clamps. Probably gonna have to turn this up a little bit because this has to get sunk down. But yeah, very promising. T fitting installed. So now we have a port for the heater hose. We're just gonna get another, I don't know if this is a 5/8 or what, but we're just gonna get another hose that goes from here. I'm gonna route it along this water tube to tie in with this right here and run them together, probably under the wastegate around that way. And then it goes over here towards the heater core. So I wanna test fit the manifold real quick just to make sure that it can sit flush without interfering with either the worm clamp or the T fitting itself, because it does sit up kind of high there. So go ahead and just mock this up real quick. And I don't want to put this on entirely today because I just want to make installing the heater hose much easier. as far as squeezing the hose onto the T and the worm clamp. All right, flush up. We are looking good. Oh yeah, plenty of space. Stoked about that. Alrighty, I'm gonna tinker with the wastegate positioning off camera and get it all nice and ready for when we make the dump tube, once we have material, or at least a flange, or if I decide to cut the old dump tube apart. Keeping this video simple with just the top half of the downpipe fabrication. I wanted to do more, but realizing I only got one stick of aluminum rod left and not enough material for the dump tube, we're just gonna call it quits there. So we're gonna wrap up the video right here. Hope you guys enjoy some progress update on the right hand drive wagon. Hoping we can get it all put back together soon so we can get it also ready for the dyno. My brother just got his supercharged wagon towed back home. His clutch pedal has gone super stiff and it's not engaging gears. So another car is going to be coming up onto the driveway here soon, along with his blue wagon that needs a quick little refresh. That's going to be a fun one because it didn't sound too pleasant when we turned it on earlier. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you guys want to stick around for more shenanigans here on the driveway, hopefully we can tune the sedan soon. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.